Good morning. So what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be taking notes on arc length. We already talked about sector area yesterday, and we're going to do the same thing with the arcs today. So we're going to do a couple of examples together. So example one, say we have this circle, pretend that's a circle, where we have 100 degrees right there. Our radius is 7 centimeters, and we want to find the measure of this arc. So we can do the same sort of thing we did yesterday when we set up this proportion. So I'm going to do my box just like yesterday, except we're going to label it a couple different things. So we still have our angle, we still have our sector, and we still have our whole circle. But this is a little different. Normally on the sector area, we use the area formula right here because we wanted to know everything inside. For the arc length, we want to know this part of the perimeter or part of our circumference. So we're actually going to use our circumference for that part there. So we set it up the same thing. The angle of my sector, all right, that's 100. My whole circle is always 360 degrees. The circumference of my whole circle. So remember, we find circumference, it's 2 times pi times radius. So if I look here, my radius is 7, and that's what I'm going to plug in. So I have 2 times pi times 7. All right, 7 times 2 gives me 14. So 14 pi is the circumference of this whole circle, so all the crust of my pizza. Now I want to know just this part of the crust, just this little section of my arc right there. So I do what I did yesterday, and I set up a proportion. So I have 100 over 360 equals x over 14 pi. And just like yesterday, we cross multiply. So 100 times 14 pi gives me 1400 pi equals 360x. Then again, to get the x alone, we would divide. So I divide each side by 360. And I have left 3.89 pi. If instead you multiplied out that pi, which remember you definitely can, you would get about 12.22. And these are all in centimeters. And we know that because our radius is in centimeters. So this is the same exact thing that we were doing yesterday, except the only difference is instead of the area, we're now doing the circumference. So I'm going to do just one more example just to solidify it with you all. So for example 2, we have this circle. It looks like this, where we have 30 degrees right here. Our radius is 5 inches. We're trying to find this arc. So I'm going to set up my box so I can keep all my work straight. We have my angle, I'm going to put C for circumference, my sector, and my whole circle. All right, the angle of the sector we're looking at is 30 degrees. All circles are always over 360 degrees. For my circumference here, I want to look at my radius, which is 5. So it's 2 times pi times 5. 2 times 5 would give me 10 pi. Now set up my proportion. 30 over 360 equals x over 10 pi. Cross multiply. Oh, you can't see that, sorry. Then we cross multiply. We have 300 pi equals 360 times x. Divide each side by 360. And when you put it in your calculator, you should get about 0.83 pi Or if you put it not in the approximate, you would have 2.62. And these are in inches. Both of these are correct answers. Again, I don't care how you write it because they're both correct. So we're going to do a whole bunch of practice with this and with sector area. Remember that if it's asking for the arc length, you use circumference. If it's asking for the sector area, you would use your area. All right, let's go.